Filipino-American Chamber of Commerce, and I'm the current vice chair for Region 1 in DFW and the current state membership director. Today we have Ms. Lisa Reyes. Ms. Reyes has been in finance and life insurance industries all her professional for more than 20 years, mainly as a corporate executive. After having graduated with 2 degrees in mathematics, actuarial science from the University of the Philippines in Diliman, she was an actuary in life. Her migration to the U.S. in 2007 led her to apply all her experience as an entrepreneur, this time as a senior an insurance agency in Phoenix, Arizona. She currently resides in Arizona and she is married with 4 children. She is also the director for World Financial Group. Lisa?
Yes. Thank you, Vin.
You're welcome.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you, everyone. I apologize. Something is wrong with the camera. So I guess it's a blessing that you'll have to do with my voice, but my picture is there. Hope you can see the screen. Thank you so much, Vin, for the introduction. And thank you. Thank you for the invitation. It was Aileen Dizon, a co-alumna at the University of the Philippines, for inviting me. She was the one who introduced me to the Philam Chamber of Commerce of Texas. So I'm coming to you live from the state of Arizona. So let's get on with this. Who among you consider financial security as part of your active vocabulary? Do we talk about it every day? Well, with each day unfolding, shouldn't we keep learning on a daily basis? You know, I'm very excited today to be here. We're celebrating women and inspiring change. Isn't that a great event title? I am most passionate about helping people, especially women just like me. You see, there are very limited tools and strategies to address the financial needs of women. I have been in the US for 15 years after a prolific executive career back home. And now I had to recreate myself here in a foreign country, and I had to search for who I was. And now I've built my own business, which has run for 10 years as a financial professional. You know, my personal mission is to help women achieve improved retirement security. My hope is that I can reach as many women and share the valuable information that I have learned all these years. Let me tell you this. Did you know that 80% of men die married? They will die married, meaning they will die earlier than us married women. And 80% of women will die single. And did you know that 70% of women fire their male financial advisor because they're going to look for women? Women need other women to help them achieve financial security. Women support other women, and hopefully I can be that friend to you. So my contact information is on the screen. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, of course, email, and my cell phone number. I love to text. I'm Filipino, right? So, and I'm so excited if you see that new handle on Instagram. That's brand new, as in a few days ago. What would mom say? And it's addressed to the millennials or younger people. And I'm so excited about that. My kids had inspired me to put that up. What you could never ask your mom, you can ask me. All right. So enough of that. Let's get on to my presentation. This will not be your usual webinar, and I'm actually excited to bring this to you in the form of a story. Who loves a story? You see, our virtual mentors include David McKnight, Patrick Kelly, Ed Slott, Tom Hegna, to name a few. But today's story is inspired by the book The Volatility Shield by David McKnight. Did you know that I could not put the book down? I know some of you binge watch on Netflix, and who among us stay longer on a series because we always want to know how it ends, right? That's how it was for me. So today I'm going to tell you the story, but because it's originally almost 3 hours long on Audible, I'm going to skip some of the theatrics and spare you some of the drama and just narrate the technical aspects of the story. Is that okay? So one more thing. I actually thrive on being interactive. So if you, I see 6 people in the session or 5, if you would like to put something in the chat, say hello, tell me where you're from. We're going to use the chat very actively here. So give me some energy, put something on the chat, just put a hi or hello. Okay, so while you're doing that, let me get on to the next screen. Before I share the story, let's take a look at our current situation. Everything here is familiar, right? We are living in such a volatile market. I always ask, people ask me, where do I put my money? And then inflation rates are going up, interest rates are rising, bond rates are going down. And then there's this war between Ukraine and Russia. Oh my goodness, it's causing a strain on us. And have you been watching the gasoline prices? Oh my goodness. So the question I'm often asked, where would you put your money? Can we actually still achieve financial security? So on the chat, please type yes if you are looking for answers, because hopefully we can get that today. So let's start our story. Let me introduce our story's 2 main characters. Now, Ted is 50, is a former NFL quarterback, quite famous during his time, and is now a successful sporting goods business owner. He has succeeded in selling his business. He's now 50 and he's getting ready to retire. How many of you are thinking of retirement, right? Type it on the chat. Type yes on the chat. And he has sold his business for 4 million, and his liquid funds have netted him 3 million after tax. Isn't that cool? Now, Jack is his stepson, and he's young. He's in his mid-20s, and he's about to leave his hometown to pursue his career as an engineer somewhere away. You see, his stepfather, Jack, Jack is the stepson, Ted is the older guy, right? And Jack is about to leave town. His stepfather had called him to his office at the last minute. You see, their relationship had not been very good, and now, on his way to leave town, he was annoyed that his stepfather had to call him now, of all times. It turns out Ted needed his opinion about his retirement projections, and it had been run for him by his financial advisor, Bruce. So Ted asked if he could take a look. Come on, Jack, take a look at this, and let me know what your opinion is. All right, Jack said, one last time, let me go and take a look. So this was his retirement plan. Ted projected with his 3 million that he would have an annual withdrawal of 165,000 for the next 35 years. Ooh, okay. And his funds would earn 9%. This is a very typical financial projection by a financial advisor, and they call it a set it and forget it plan. All right. So Jack went on his trip. He actually forgot about Ted, and that's it. He lived his life. Now, fast forward our story, fast forwards to 19 years later. 19 years later, Jack is now in his mid-40s, and he received a call from his stepsister, Annie. He said, Jack, you need to come home. Dad has suffered an aneurysm and had collapsed. So Jack hesitated. Why should I come home? What's wrong, Annie? So Annie thought that her dad was in a long-term care situation, right? And being young, Jack said, what's long-term care? He later found out that Ted had set him as a financial power of attorney and the executor of his estate. So, okay, Annie, let me book the first available flight back to hometown. So later on, after talking to Ted's doctor, Jack found out that there were only 2 long-term care facilities in town. Sunset Care, which was the high-end facility costing around 10,000 monthly. 10,000 monthly, wow. The other one was St. Luke's, which was a Medicaid-funded facility. So, if you could type on the chat, please. Come on, I'd love to hear from you, the 5 people who are here. Type yes if you feel like you have been through or you know someone who has been in a long-term care situation. So Jack said, he knew that Ted had the money And it was clear, oh, he's going to sunset care. No worries. He talked to me years back. He told me he had $3 million, right? So when he got home, he went straight to Ted's home and decided to look over his records and his files. After all, he was his financial power of attorney. So, you know what? Upon scrutinizing the files of Ted, Jack was so shocked. After he found the statements of his portfolio, Jack was so shocked when he found that he only had $71,000 left in his account. So he was so upset, he called up Bruce. He tried reaching Bruce, the financial advisor, and he wanted to confront him because he was angry. He recalled that Ted started with $3 million. Do you remember that figure? And he was supposed to withdraw $165,000 each year with an expected average earnings rate of 9%. But Jack never got hold of Bruce, the financial advisor. So, upon further scrutiny of his figures and statements, he saw that the funds had reported not 9%, but only 8.1. And he said, could that be the reason why his funds had shrunk to 71,000 only? So Jack gets to work on his computer, going through all the statements over the last 19 years, and he did his own calculations. You see, being an engineer, he knew that he had enough math skills inside of him. He couldn't believe that his balance had come down to only 71,000. That's unbelievable. So do you want to see what Jack ended up with? Okay, here's the table. Let's go over this very slowly. Let me guide you through this table. So again, like we said, Ted started with $3 million, right? And the actual earnings rate, the average rate, according to his statements, was 8.1. And if he was going to go for an annual withdrawal or annual income of 165,000, slowly each year he was going to withdraw that amount, he was supposed to end up with 5.7 million. So these calculations prove that he was supposed to have 5.7, and yet his portfolio was down to 71,000. So Jack was becoming so frustrated. He was thinking, am I doing the wrong math here? Or maybe did Ted spend more than 165,000? Did he withdraw more than that? Why weren't the numbers adding up? So Jack was so puzzled, he had to look for more clues. It was at this point that he decided to look for a second opinion. I mean, we seek second medical opinions, right? Why not do it for our finances? So he thought best to look for another financial professional, and he found Miss Jane Fletcher. In looking up Jane, her website said that her firm's services included money management, some estate planning, long-term care, and financial and life insurance, right? So I hope you can type on the chat because I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know that there are real people watching me here. So this is Jane Fletcher and her team. Jack stopped by her office the following day, and it said there, their services include money management, estate planning, long-term care planning, and life insurance. After he had successfully sat down in front of Jane, Jack narrated what had happened to his stepfather's portfolio over the last 19 years. So let's take a review. Ted started with $3 million and was supposed to withdraw $165 each year, and an expected average earnings rate of 9% was projected. I promise all of you, there's going to be a lesson here somewhere. So Jack wanted to show her his calculations. Can I show you my laptop and my calculations? And so Jane looked over his calculations and she said, did you know that the average rate of return almost never corresponds to the actual rate of return? Obviously, you don't get 9% each and every year. So Jane asked Jack, can I take a look at your calculations? May I enter the actual earnings rate for each year? That's what we should be using, the actual rates of return. So Jack turned his computer to Jane and watched her work on his calculations. So let's go over that again. See here, these are the actual rates of return. There were negative years and there were positive years. And look at the lower right-hand corner. She was able to calculate 71,198. So this is what it would look like if we place the actual earnings per year. Don't put an average rate because that is used only, so take note guys, the average rate can only be used for making projections when you are persuading a client to put money in a certain medium. But in analyzing your portfolio, the actual earnings rate should be used. And so Jack said, wow, how did you do that? How did you get the same 71,000? That's so cool. You know, but it still does not solve our problem that he does not have much funds left, especially for his current long-term care needs. How can he afford the $10,000 a month at Sunset Care? That will last only 7 months, right? I don't want my stepfather to use a Medicaid facility. So Jane proceeded to talk more. And here's what she said. Jack, when you withdraw money, do you see money? I'm not sure if you see my cursor, but when you withdraw money, when the market is down, you kill the dollars that are supposed to be earning you money. In other words, you're shrinking your portfolio's ability to produce that income because it was projected to be at 9% every year. So that means the projections are affected by what we call the sequence of actual returns. We are all exposed to the sequence of return risk, and that's timing risk. We cannot predict the market. Unfortunately, when you talk to a money manager, they pay more attention to the average rate of return, but it does not reflect bad money management. You see, Jack had started to get angry at this Bruce guy. What did he do with my stepfather's money? So here's another observation that Jack made. Do you see this column of 165,000? That's 5.5% of the money. That's way too high. So how much should we withdraw? So before I do that, let me give you a technical definition. You might want to just write it down. Maybe I won't talk much about it, but it's called the Monte Carlo simulation. And what it does in plain English, here's what it means. What is the likelihood of making it to the end of life without running out of money? I'll say that again. Will my money last for my entire lifetime? So let's take a look at this. Don't get shocked by the huge window of numbers. We'll take it little by little, okay? So again, what does this say? What is the likelihood? So these are the percentages that my money will make it to the end. So let's just take an example. 50% of our portfolio is in stocks. Just an example. I took the middle part of the table. And we have 40 years to go to retirement, meaning we're about, very young, 25 years old. If you're 25 years old, and if you choose a 5% withdrawal to project with, then you have a 51% chance that your money will last. So it's half. So I'll say that again. If you put 50% in stocks and you have 40 years to go, you put 5% income during retirement, your money will last half the time. So that's not right. So let's dial it down. Let's dial it down to 4%. Let's say you don't withdraw 5% and instead you withdraw 4% only. Then you have a higher percentage of having your money last until you die. So on the other hand, if you go even lower to 3% and you stick probably to less stocks, then you have a higher chance. You see these dark green areas, then that's when you dial it down and see where you will be. Bottom line, during retirement, we should be calculating based on actual earnings, right? We saw that in the table earlier, and in the order in which it was earned, actual earnings. And the volatility risk how much is in stocks, and how much we withdraw. Let me say that again. Number one, everything depends on your actual earnings and the order it was earned. Number two, the market volatility risk. How much of your portfolio is in stocks? And number three, how much we withdraw, right? Is it 5, is it 4, or is it 3%? So it's the risk. We have to be careful about timing risk. It's the risk of not knowing how the market will turn out, because we definitely know that it will not be 9 or 8.1% each and every year. Money managers will be focusing on average rates of return. We should be analyzing actual rates of return. All right. So you can remember that. I just had to put this picture here. 4% rule. That's the current rate. But you know what? Slowly and slowly, it's becoming 3%. But you'll hear this from financial managers. It's a 4%. So let's take a look at that table once again. Here. Instead of 165,000, remember that? It is now, so Ted changed it to 120,000, which is the 4%. Let's see if Jane was correct. And if we withdrew only 4%, which is 120,000, then it becomes 2.6. It's a better picture. Actual rates of return, including the downside of the market, only 120,000 at 4% was withdrawn every year. We're going to end up with 2.6 million. You see, people fail to realize that one of the most important actions in retirement planning is how much you withdraw. The goal is not just to accumulate a lot of money. It's not just to get to the top of the mountain, as we like to say. The real goal is to get to the top, then get back down. You see, we save a lot of money going up the mountain. And, you know, people have climbed the Mount Everest, and many have died there climbing the Mount Everest, right? Because they never planned how to get down the mountain. That means building a nest egg and making sure it lasts until we die. That's why the 4% rule is very important. And we should watch both the sequence of return risk and the withdrawal risk, and not just the market volatility risk. Of course, the big question now is, would Ted have been okay? You see, that's the past now. Would he have been okay with 120,000 only? So, you know what? That made Jack think. And he started to think about his own numbers and his own retirement. Remember, he's in his mid-40s. So maybe some of us can relate. Some of us are older. Hopefully, some of us are younger. So how can I make it right for me, Jane? Tell me, what lifestyle do I want to have? How much do I have already saved up? So let's see. Jane proceeded to have a discovery session with Jack. Let's see. How much do you have in your 401k? So maybe these are questions you want to ask yourself. He had 230,000 and he felt like he did not have enough. Okay, let's go for the 4% rule. That's what you just taught me. And how much do you want to earn at retirement? Let's say 100,000. Are you sure, Jack? Because that is so many years, maybe 20, 30 years from now. But yeah, let's pick a round number and say 100,000. Applying the 4% rule, then that means I need 2.5. Oh no, because 2.5 times 4% is 100,000, right? Working backwards. So if you want 100,000, so ask yourselves, guys, how much money do you want to be earning during retirement? Is it 100,000? And if you apply the 4% rule, then it's 2.5. What else would Jane need to know? Would you be comfortable with a 7% annual rate of return? I said, okay, I don't know any better. Let's go with what you recommend. All right, what else? Do you contribute to your 401k? Yes, I contribute 19,000. Oh, so you're not maxing out. Max contribution this year, 2022, is 20,500. So Jane started to write these numbers down. And does your employer match your contributions? Yes, there's a 3% employer match. And so how much do you earn? Oh, I'm an engineer. I earn 150,000. So this is Jack. These are Jack's numbers. So Jane proceeded to do some calculations, worked on her computer, and this is what she concluded. Oh, you wanted to retire at age 65. Jack would be short, so he needs to save 650,000 more. That was very intriguing. Oops, let me put that back. That was very intriguing to Jack. So how can I do that? And that must be everyone's question right now, right? How can I do that? How can I bring up 650,000? So here's what Jane said, and I'd like all of you in the audience to consider these questions. Well, number one, you can save 16,000 more a year. 16,000 more? You mean on top of my 401k contributions? What's that? That's 1,300 a month. No way. I have a young family. I'm still raising my kids. I don't have 16,000. I don't have 1,300 a month to put away. Maybe sometimes, yes, but my wife spends a lot. We go traveling once a year. No, what else? What else can I do, Jane? Well, you can decide to work longer beyond age 65, extend for 4 more years. And Jack said, no, I want to retire now, right? Have you heard that before? I want to retire early. No, that's not an option for me. What else, Jane? What else can I do? Well, you can die sooner. Very funny, very funny. Of course, I won't do that. Then you won't need the income, right? So that was a joke, obviously, but that's what happens. Number four, maybe instead of 100,000 in retirement, you can spend 74,000. Are you kidding me? With 7% inflation going on right now? No way. That's so unrealistic. I can't do that. That's 25 years from now. By that time, 74,000 will be nothing. It won't buy me the gasoline that I need right now at today's prices, right? What else can I do? Maybe I can take more risk in the stock market. But no, that's too risky. We're just fresh coming out of January when the stock market tumbled. That's so scary. I don't want to do that. So it looked like that Jack had no more options. None of these options are guaranteed. So he proceeded to ask Jane, is there a sixth option? And she said, yep, there is one. It will involve concepts that will challenge your financial overview. And Jack started to be so curious because none of those 5 other options could work for him. There must be another way. So Jane conceded, Jack was right. I hesitate, but there is another way. Are you ready to learn more? And I'm telling you this in the audience because these concepts that I'm about to share with you will challenge your financial overview. I'm open to a debate, and I'm talking to you, the audience. I'm open to a debate, but if you don't put your ego on the shelf, then I'm done. I won't continue meeting with you. You may be looking at traditional paradigms, and that's what got you into this mess that you're in, that you have to save more, work less, or work more years. If I sense that you're too blinded by conventional wisdom or whatever you read online, then you can go home. You see, Jane was very proud of what she was presenting, and if you don't like it, then you don't have to take it. So Jane asked Jack, if you were to pin down your stepfather's failure to just one thing, what would it be? Jack said, is it because he took out more than 4% and the assets could not sustain it? You're in the right track. Why? Well, because you said when you take a distribution during a down period, like it happened in the past, you kill the worker dollars that are supposed to be earning your money. So Jane started making Jack think, how ironclad is that 4% rule? What if you wanted to take out 7% or even 10%? Remember how you said earlier that to use the 4% rule, Ted should have withdrawn only 120,000? What if it were the reverse and he wanted to withdraw more? More than 165. What if he wanted to treat his whole family to a huge family vacation? Let's bring everyone home to the Philippines. Let's all travel to the Bahamas. Or worse than that, what if he had some medical expense issue that was not covered by Medicare? So let's go back to that. Let's go back to that spreadsheet. Let's zero out the annual cash flow, no withdrawals whenever there's a down period. So look at the spreadsheet again. Here, you see the circled parts? Zero. What if you zeroed out no withdrawal when the market was doing poorly, such as what happened in 2008 and 2020? Let's not take a withdrawal. So if he did not make a withdrawal on those 5 years when the market was down, and if he even took a 165,000, meaning 5.5, then his funds would still be at 2.2. Do you see that? We preserve the fund and we preserve the worker dollars. So don't kill the worker dollars that are supposed to be earning your money. Now, is it possible to take out more than 4%? How about 7 or 10%? And what about those 0 years? What income could we count on during those down years? And so that got Jack very curious all the more. And I'm sure you guys in the audience, you see why I couldn't put down the book? I wanted to find out what the 6th option was. So here's what Jane said. You will need a separate account from which to take distributions during the down years. A separate account? But I have this 3 million already. And it's called the Volatility Shield. It's an account that is earmarked specifically for lifestyle expenses during any down years. So you may have your 3 million, go ahead and do that, but you have this separate account. So what exactly? So Jack got very excited. I want to learn more. You know how young people are. I want to learn more. What is it? What is that separate account? How can it be called a Volatility Shield? So do you want to know? Do you want to know what that Volatility Shield should be? All right. So number 1, it must be safe. Oh, you mean like a bank account? Maybe that's not safe anymore. But it should be safe, that it's guaranteed to never lose money. It's immune from the stock market volatility. And it must be 100% safe. Okay, I get that. That's why it's called a Volatility Shield. It's a shield because it's safe. What else? Well, it must be productive. Huh? How can it be safe and productive or earning at the same time? That, it should earn between 4 and 6% over time so that you don't have to fund it aggressively. Keyword, aggressively. What is that? What is safe and what is productive at the same time? Is there such a thing? Well, let's see. What else? Number 3, it should be set up in place before you reach retirement. At least 10 years or more. At least 10 years, you have to set it up before 10 years before you reach retirement. Why? Why do I need to do that early? Well, you know why? Because you don't know what the market is going to be like. Your shield has to be set up early. So just like Ted's first 3 years, do you remember that? It was negative right away. So he had no shield at that time. So let me get to the 4th criterion. It has to be tax-free. So guys, if you're writing down notes, do you know who David Walker is? David Walker, just do your research on him. He was the Comptroller General of the federal government for 10 years under Presidents Clinton and Bush. Way back then, he projected in 2010 that eventually tax rates will double. There's so many articles on the internet to read about that. Are you prepared? So people did not realize that inflation rates would go up to 7%, right? Next, did we think that gasoline prices, I know you guys in Texas, you get your gas cheap there compared to us in Arizona and even in California, right? But are you experiencing the increase in gasoline prices? So the next question is, are you prepared? Are you prepared to go up to 50%? Did you know that it was in the 90s? way back during the 1930s, 90% taxes. What if it goes up to 50%? We have a tax moratorium right now until 2025. Read about that. In 2026, the tax bargain, we call it the tax bargain, will go away, and 2026 taxes will go up again. Oh my goodness, all the more. This got Jack very intrigued and very excited, analyzing someone like Ted, who had been there, having the privilege of his financial power of attorney. This has helped him make decisions for himself. So the words rang in his ears. Is it possible to make more than 4%? How about 7? How about 10%? What if there were 2 or more down years during the first 10 years? I need that volatility shield. So he started thinking, what is that? It's a savings account. But she said it has to earn 4 to 6%. Does something like that exist? And that got him thinking when he remembered Jane's website. Oh my goodness, is it permanent life insurance? Jack had to think about this permanent life insurance. I was told I'm not a good candidate. I hate life insurance. I don't believe in it. I only believe in term insurance, which is what most everybody says. But then he remembered that Jane said that he should discard all his old and outdated financial paradigms. He had to be open-minded about this. But you know what? He was angry. No, that's not me. I don't believe in permanent life insurance. So he went back to Jane and he said, tell me how did he found out later on that Ted approached Jane. They were old friends. Oh my goodness. So Ted was 9 years into retirement. He was already age 59. And Ted realized that his portfolio, remember those first 3 years, they had dropped from 1.6 million. Now it had shrunk to 900. Remember, he started at 3 million. He was in a panic. Jane, I need a second opinion. So Ted's request at that time, I cannot afford any more 39% dips. I'd really like it to be tax-free because that David Walker guy, he could be right and the signs are there. I would like some kind of long-term care benefit. You know why? Because he spent 6 months at his wife's bedside before she passed away. Oh my goodness. So the wife passed away, right? And finally, I want a way to leave a legacy behind. I want people to remember me. I was a popular, quarterback. I want, my name to stay on behind. So these were Ted's requests back then. And so what did he do? Ted purchased a permanent life insurance policy from Jane. It was for 1.5 million. It had chronic illness or long-term care rider, where if you cannot do 2 out of 6 ADLs, activities of daily living, it would pay for his expenses. So out of his money, remember he was withdrawing $165,000. He paid $5,000 of that each month. You see, that 165 translated to 13,000 a month. Out of that, he lived frugally. He lived, the Filipino way. And 5,000 of that he put away into a life insurance policy. Currently, he was so shocked to find that his permanent life insurance policy today, after 19 years and Ted was in a long-term care situation, that his cash value was at a whopping $685,000. Ooh, he can afford the $10,000 in Sunset Senior Care after all. Oh my goodness, let's take a look at that one more time. Annual withdrawal, remember, he was withdrawing $165,000 a year. After tax, that's $120,000. His lifestyle was only $60,000. He had no more mortgage, no more kids. It was just him and his wife, and he could live with $5,000 a month. So the rest of it was put into his life insurance policy. No dips in the fund. Take note, if you want to take pictures of my screen, this is the one you want to take a picture of. No dips in the fund. It will not lose money, not lose principal. A fixed indexed life insurance policy is something you want to talk about. It's tax-free by law. I can tell you the IRS section. It has long-term care, and if you pass away, you leave a legacy. So Jack was so shocked. This was the volatility shield that Jane was mentioning. I didn't know that you could grow money inside a life insurance policy, and it's called an indexed universal life policy. So my goodness, really, wow, if you take a look at this, all of a sudden, he was not angry at Ted anymore. He was like the hero. He was like, he did well. Ted did well in his plan in talking to Jane. He was so proud. So let's get back. Let's get back to Jack's plan now. Wait a minute. Life insurance, I'm not too sure about it. You see, I'm a math person. I believe in solutions, not theory. After all, Jack was an engineer. The math had to add up. If you remember, Jack didn't want to save more. He didn't have enough budget. He didn't want to work longer. He wanted to retire now. He didn't want to live long. He wanted to live long. He didn't want to die. And he didn't want to have a lesser lifestyle. 74,000, no way. And he didn't want to put more money into stocks. So yes, all right, I want that. I want that sixth option. So what did Jane do? All right, let's do this. You told me you were contributing to a 401k fund at 19,000. Yes? Yes. So why don't we bring that down to the matching, whatever your employer matches, let's avail of that because that's free money. So you put away 4,500, your employer will give you 4,500. By age 65, she did her calculations. That will end up to be 1.2, and you could withdraw 8% from that. Remember the 4% rule? Now you can withdraw 8% at $100,000. That contribution will now be freed up. You reduce your contribution down to 45 and you can free up 14,500. After tax, that's 10,000. And now you can put that into a life insurance policy. And that volatility shield will cover all your down years. So the 4% rule is not the 4% rule after all. It's the volatility shield. You'll hit your retirement goal. You'll fully fund your volatility shield by the time you reach age 65. So I'm nearing the end of my story. What legacy will you leave behind? How the story ends is that Ted died after 2 years in the Sunset Senior Care. He could afford 10,000. He used his life insurance accumulated cash value. And after he passed away, he was so passionate, we didn't know about the Lancaster Boys Club. And he left 1.4 million to the Boys Club. And later it was called the Ted Hardy Community Center. So remember all this. Remember all the risks that we are faced with. Do not ignore the sequence of return or timing risk. Use the Monte Carlo simulations to manage withdrawal risk. Take measures to lower the market volatility risk and open up a volatility shield separate account. So let me go back. I know I went too fast. I talked too fast, but I tried to digest the book in front of you. I'm not sure if we have time for Q&A, but like I mentioned at the beginning, each of you will have a different situation, and I'm definitely open to holding a consultation meeting with you. My contact information is on the screen if you want to learn more. You see, women are the new face of wealth. We are mothers, wives, sisters, daughters, friends, and everything to everyone. We have different needs and objectives than men. Among the financial issues women are concerned about, nothing is more urgent or larger in scope than planning for financial security in retirement. I am passionate about educating the women who are expected to take control over the 30 trillion in financial assets. So I thank you all. Thank you so much for the opportunity. More power to the Filipino-American Chamber of Commerce of Texas. I salute you all. Yeah, thank you for your comments. I am reading them now. I see that Gus, you wanted to email me, but you know what? Text is better too. So write down my cell phone number. I welcome text messages, Instagram messages, Facebook Messenger, LinkedIn. I'm everywhere. You won't lose me. So yes, I'm open to questions right now. If you want to either what, put it on the chat, or are they able to turn on their microphones? I'm so sorry I can't get on the camera, but yeah, we still have 10 minutes. The host says so. Let's make use of the 10 minutes. Is there something that I should explain more or talk more about? You see, I'm very passionate. I'm a new immigrant. I consider myself a new immigrant here, and like new immigrant, new meaning less than 20 years. We didn't have enough time to save. We didn't have enough time to save here. Maybe we've saved some money back home in the Philippines, but it's time to catch up. It's time to prepare. It's scarier now more than ever. When I did these slides, it was early January, but now that it's been 2 months since then, I feel more compelled. My heart, my blood is boiling all the more now than ever before. Yeah, let me type my number on the chat. Sorry for my keyboard. Yeah, use the chat box or the Q&A. You can text me too. I will answer you. I love texting, and I'd love to answer your questions. But yeah, let's do something about that. Yeah, real estate is now as good as cash. Yes, you're right. And low supply, especially here in the same here in Arizona. Very low supply. I think here they said that there are only 4,000 properties listed. Um, and you know what? I'm in the same situation, Gus. I wanted to sell my house, but then I said, where do I buy? It's not, I don't know. I'm meeting with many realtors. I don't know if you're a realtor. Isn't real estate now a better vehicle for long-term investment? Yes, it is. The thing is, they are such high prices now. Now, used to be, people would say that prices would go down, but no, I don't think so. The rates might go up. The rates of mortgages might go up. I'm also in the process of refinancing, so I kind of know where we are right now. Yeah, but I do believe in real estate. I believe about 1/4 of my portfolio is in real estate. 1/4 is in annuities. That's another thing to think about if you have cash lying around there. Fixed index annuities are it's the same concept as the volatility shield, except that you pay for it monthly. But if you have money sitting in CDs or in stocks or in your bank account, fixed index annuities are a good alternative. So 1/4 of our portfolio is in real estate, 1/4 in annuities, the rest are in liquid assets. So I'm going to copy and paste your email addresses on my note sheet here so that I can remember. All right, so that's more in real estate, only 10% in stocks. Yes. Yeah, each one is different, like I said, and each one has a different risk appetite. It depends on some are very conservative, others are moderate, and others are aggressive. Any other comments? Well, the best thing to do really is to sit down with a financial professional. We are in the study of what's available out there. We give advice, but it doesn't have to be me, although I'd love to make friends with all of you. And yeah, love real estate investments too. Oh, you're a realtor. Hi, Yoli. Nice to meet you. I used to have a real estate license, but sadly, I did not renew it and I regret it. Maybe I should get one again. I loved real estate. I used to do commercial real estate. It's so hard to talk to a screen and there are no voices who can talk to me. I'm just imagining that you're all there and that you're all listening and typing things for me. Any tips before buying property? I want to have at least land in 3 years here in the Philippines. Oh, in the Philippines. Oh, the best place to buy is in the Philippines, really. No place like home. And we do have property in the Philippines, and that's not part of my 100%. I'm only talking about US related. Yeah, I realize that some of you are in the Philippines. Yes, land in the Philippines is something that I have property in West Grove in Silang, Cavite. It's a small residential lot, and it's appreciated quite a bit since we bought it in the 90s. No, what? Yeah, 90s. Yeah. Oh, you're in Imus. Take a look at West Grove, but I know there are many Ayala properties. I'm reading the speaker chat in case you're wondering who I'm talking to. So, yeah, it's Irene. I didn't realize you're in the Philippines. Yeah, so there are many Ayala developments. Ayala is the name that I trust. That's my personal choice. Oh, it's been a disappointment. Oh, sorry to be in disagreement with you, but yeah, each one has his own. Oh, Arca South, I don't know about that, but maybe things have changed because last time we were buying Ayala properties was in the 90s, so it's been a while. Maybe something has happened, and I don't know. I don't live there anymore. I just hear from my brothers-in-law and my own siblings. Oh, okay. Sorry to hear that, Vin. But yeah, I'm sure there will be others. I think buying property in the provinces, not in Metro Manila, but obviously going out and out. So I'm not sure about where the. So what's your favorite developer in the Philippines? If it's not Ayala, what would it be then? Give me ideas too. Would it be, so I don't want to go, what is that, Metro World? But I know there are new companies that have cropped up in the Philippines. Share that with everyone. Do we still have time? Are we still killing time? Near the beach. Yes, I love the beach. No, my husband loves the beach. I like mountains. My mom lives in Tagaytay, and I'm looking forward to, knock on wood, hopefully not soon, to inherit the property there. It's by the ridge. It's by Lourdes Church in Tagaytay. Yes, so I love going home. I'm going home soon in the summer, and I hope to see her and enjoy the nice breeze in Tagaytay. Yeah, so yes, hope to see you too. Yeah, I'll look you up. Send me your information. Yes, I'm in Arizona. I find that a lot of people are retiring here. You see, people in California would sell their property for, let's say, $1 million, and then they'd buy a house here for $500,000, and then they'll buy businesses for the rest of it. Yes, please email me. I'd love to hear from you. So Arizona is, I find it good. Although my kids, they're millennials, they're in California. They keep insisting that we move to California. They say it's more vibrant. Here it's more quiet, more laid back. It's flat, but the weather is great, especially this time of the year. Yeah, please text me or Messenger or what do you call that? Instagram.
Okay, I guess we're ready to wrap it up. Um, Lisa, I think they're asking if you're in Facebook.
Yes, Lisa Reyes on Facebook. I think it has the same profile photo, or I'm wearing it's the same photo shoot. And so you'll recognize me on Facebook. Winter and summer in SoCal, the best place to be. Oh, are you in? Oh, you're in Texas, Gus, right? And you just go to SoCal for winter and summer. Yeah, I love California, but it's so expensive. Instagram is Liz Reyes. Oh, I realized my screen is not up anymore, huh? And then I had my new page. What would mom say? Brand new. So nothing in it yet. That's Instagram. LinkedIn, I'm Elizabeth Lisa Reyes. LinkedIn. Oh, Oxnard. Yes. Nice. Yes, I am World Financial Group. I think you might have heard of it, or are you part of it? But my husband is securities licensed, so I'm not sure how much of World Financial Group you know, but my husband is securities licensed, and yeah, we offer more than just the usual World Financial questions. Okay, we need to end after that question. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Reach out to me, and I'll reach out to you too. Thank you.